new era for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship returns June 25th.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Go for it.
Welcome back to Morgan Hill, the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Center. scene of a whole host of matches this weekend in the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships presented by Sunoco. We've got the SoCal Lashings in their second outing of the day, getting ready to take on the Golden State Grizzlies coming down from our state capital. The Grizzlies coming in with a record of 5-5. They have fallen in 5 of their last 7 encounters and are desperately trying to hang on to playoff relevance at this point. They're not mathematically eliminated yet, but it would take quite a bit to get them there. SoCal, meanwhile, coming in with a record now of 3-8 after falling to defeat earlier this morning. And the first delivery of our match from the Golden State Grizzlies is delivered by Ruchir Joshi from the Barrett Avenue end, and it is a wide in order to get things started. So SoCal Lashings immediately off the mark. Katane Clark will be opening the batting alongside the captain Dale Phillips. It is Clark, one of the 2 members of this Kiwi connection, facing the first delivery. Good to have you along today. My name's Joe Hickey. We got Bud Jadabans at the controls, Andrew Grindle on the camera work, and the soothing voice of Suhas Vedam on the comms here with me. Suhas, glad you were able to join us yet again today here in Morgan Hill.
Thank you very much, Joe. Always pleasure joining you, and very warm welcome to everyone viewing this one. We are yet to get started as far as the scorebook is concerned in terms of bowling the first ball. He's run in twice and he's bowled really good balls to a left-hander, not the one on strike.
The interesting thing is, too, this is very out of character for Ruchir Joshi. Coming into this, he had bowled exactly 1 wide all season. One of the 171 runs he's conceded was a wide delivery, and 2 of them to start today's encounter make it 3.
Well, just about discussing about Ruchir's hat-trick, actually, before this game began. I think he's bowled a hat-trick of wides.
Do we put money on that?
No, I'm not betting.
Joshi coming into action today, as we were saying, 3 wickets on the season, an economy of about 9.9.
I'll tell you the reason why we were harping on Ruchir as well, because he's a bowler who's got some extra pace. He needs to prove himself again.
Certainly. First runs off the bat there as Katane Clark works that to the man at backward point. That'll bring Dale Phillips on strike for the first time. Joshi, in his last outing, he sat out the game last weekend between Golden State and Silicon Valley. His last outing was up in Davis at Arroyo Park, and that one was looking so good for so long. 3 very solid overs, followed, unfortunately for him, by a final over to forget as Nawaz Khan lit him up for 20 runs and turned the tide of that match. That one up in the air just over the outstretched hand of Karan Chandel, the wicketkeeper. We'll see here if that goes down as leg byes, and indeed it does. So was not a chance there if Chandel had managed to flag it down. That'll bring Clark back on strike.
Katane Clark is looking in great touch. Would want to continue from where he left off in the first game.
Without doubt, Clark entering action this weekend with an average just under 28 and a strike rate of 136.5.
That's improved.
Indeed. Now works this one away and over the top of the man at mid-off. And that's going to go all the way for 6.
The good shot, just extension of arms and making it look so simple. Katane Clark has got a measure of what the boundary rope is.
And certainly at that moment, an awareness of where the fielders are. You know, if you can go over the top of him, maybe it carries to the boundary rope, but you're in no danger. Today, just a pair of changes to the roster. Ruchir Joshi, one of the 2 that is into the lineup in place of Mohit Nataraj. The other in is Anish Deshpande because Ehsan Adil picked up a niggle during the warm-ups pre-game, and so for the first time this season, no Adil in the Golden State attack. Another single here worked by Katane Clark.
No, Ehsan Adil is a big blow indeed for Golden State Grizzlies. He's been tremendous ever since he set foot in the USA soil.
Yeah, particularly inside the power play. I remember when I first got a look at impact ratings that are calculated, it indicated that he had about 4 more wickets in the power play than you would have expected out of somebody with his work rate. And mind you, what was expected was 4. So he was basically doubling that up. A fantastic strike rate in there, and he's even more dangerous at the death. So we saw Silicon Valley this morning deal with absences. Golden State are going to have to do the same.
Yeah, the other bowlers need to pick up their game and ensure the early wickets come by. Ruchir Joshi at the moment, he hasn't looked very threatening. He's known for one that just goes away from the right-hander. He's been practicing a slower delivery as well, which I'm not quite sure we'll use in the first 6.
Final ball of what is going to be a pretty long over for Ruchir Joshi is work towards the boundary rope. He's got protection out there, though. Aditya Srinivas, the under-19 player, manages to get to that. That'll be 2 for Phillips to finish off the frame. 14 from it, 14 for no loss through 1.
1, 2, 3.
Spin from the San Pedro end to start. It'll be Vatsal Vagela coming at Clark and Phillips. This opening partnership is a recent development for the SoCal Lashings. They broke it out for the very first time, this Kiwi connection, in their matches last weekend. And up until earlier this morning, Dale Phillips had been absolutely rejuvenated by it. An 84 not out and a 40 in those first 2 outings alongside Katane Clark to open the batting this morning. It was productive, but it was brief. 2 4s, a 6, and then a wicket very soon thereafter. He was taken early, and it fell to Katane Clark to do most of the heavy lifting for SoCal Lashings.
And boy, did he deliver. Still, the runs weren't enough. This tells you how dominating a side the strikers can be, even if they're missing a couple of key players in their middle order. Just didn't let the game go till that, so that you require the efforts of a Primus or a Reefer otherwise. Now Vatsal Vagela, the youngster who's got a taste of what it is to play at the international level. Very accurate and a quick learner. That's what separates him from the rest. Vatsal Vagela.
Nice diving play from Sami Aslam at the covers to keep that one on the infield. A pair of dot balls to get started for the left armour coming around the wicket to Katane Clark. Here comes. This time able to get it fine of Sami Aslam. That'll go to Malik Junaid out at the boundary rope. A single and the captain Phillips to come on strike. Protection right now at mid-wicket and at long off. That's in the air. Could be a chance, and Zia Shahzad will take it. And again, a very brief day for Dale Phillips, even less productive than the first one earlier this morning. Just 2 runs from the 4 balls he faces.
Dejected Dale will walk back. So overestimating once again that he reached the pitch of the ball, can get the elevation. Zia Shahzad's a tall man and took it comfortably in the end. Vatsal Vagela's change in pace is also working for him.
Vagela, of course, a renowned wicket taker in his short career here. Just the 20-year-old out of Milpitas has there his 5th wicket of the season for just 66 runs conceded last season. The Pacific Conference leader in wickets taken. The complication this year is that he had to miss a whole bunch of games because of the T20 World Cup qualifiers, because unlike that time last year, he is now an international. So in again at 3 will be Rajveer Khosa. And again, Katane Clark is going to have some work here to do to try to stabilize an innings and build a total that can be defended against a Golden State team that is very much a wounded animal, a team that is in need of points, in need of big wins if they're going to overturn the net run rate disadvantage that they have that may come into play if they catch fire here down the stretch. First delivery to the new man, Rajveer Khosa, is worked to Malik Junaid at long off for a single.
Rajveer Khosa comes with great reputation of going for the big shots on a regular basis. Today, after his captain back in the pavilion, for just 2 against his name, an early wicket that is, how is he going to pace his innings? That's more important, because Catney Clark is sort of signalling that he wants to be the anchor.
Productive first over for Vatsal Vagela, just 3 from it, and the wicket of the captain, Dale Phillips. 17 for 1.
Good.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Brought to you, among others, by DAFA News, sponsor of the DAFA News Emerging Player of the Week, something Vatsal Vagela, who just bowled and took a wicket, has been awarded in the past. Also of the shot of the match, and that is an attempt at one, although, boy, that will have put their hearts in their mouths for just a moment, as Catney Clark gave that one just enough height to get over the man at mid-on.
And very nonchalantly started to look down as well, as if it's going to go over the fielder's head, and it did eventually, as the balls retreat from the game alongside.
Well, to be fair, had it gone into the hands of the fielder, you'd also want to look down at that moment.
That is so true. Just in that nanosecond when he'd hit that and he realized he's got just enough elevation, it was Khosa at the other end who was more concerned than Catney. Boundary early on, always helpful. And Catney Clark's going through this one, doesn't get the elevation. The surviving opener is also someone who gets caught at mid-on. One ball later, the inevitable happens.
After going for 99 the first time these two teams met, a total that we at least suspect may have been shortchanged by a run by the official scorer. I encourage you to go give me a follow if you want to see that. You got to go look back a couple of months, but
well done.
Give me a follow over at Hickey Cricket and see for yourself. Catney Clark today goes for a much smaller total, dismissed for just 14 off of 9. Both openers gone, and now we've got Zohaib Ahmad coming in. I know it was last time around at this point. And indeed it is Ahmad.
Zohaib Ahmed. The thing with Zohaib is that he's struggling a little bit. It's not coming onto the bat. If any indication, it is the first game. I sort of had a conversation with him before this game began, and I asked him, some of them were your favorite shots. You just didn't go through with them. Is it more of a mental approach, or what is it about? He said the ball didn't bounce as much as I expected on both those occasions. But looks like he's got a hang of what this wicket has to offer. Mind you, this is the second game on the track. So we expect it to slow down, if not in this innings, but the next one. Zohaib Ahmed, ton of experience. Over 100 first-class games back in Pakistan. He's made the trip to the US, coaching impressionable minds. Now watches it go, and wants to be watchful of how much it's bouncing as well, Joe.
Indeed, that looked like it had a little bit of the skid that was giving him headaches in the first game earlier today. Ahmed coming into action today with a 131 strike rate and a 27 average. Not so different from the man he replaces, actually, statistically. That one is going to split the fielders on the offside and run away to the boundary rope. Zohaib Ahmed on target there. That's more like what we were expecting out of him in the first game, Suhas.
Yeah, will make him feel much better. It's come a game late, but that's all right. It's come at the right time for this game. A boundary under his belt initially, it always helps. There's a world of good to your confidence if you get into the gap like that. But just get a feeling for his liking. It was still lingering in the air for a while. It's not that drive that he eases through. Oh, very good comeback by Richard. That is a much better length.
Good dot ball to follow up, and that's been something we've seen a decent bit of over the course of today. I don't think we've seen a single bowler really get run out of the attack or anything. Pretty much everyone, after going for a boundary, maybe two, has found their way back in. One ball left in the over. Costly to both sides, 8 runs so far off of it on a pair of boundaries, but costly to SoCal in that they have lost their second opener. And we have a brief discussion here, perhaps. Are they taking a look at the ball? Umpires giving the pellet a look. Apparently everything on the up and up. Richard Joshi will steam in just a moment with the final delivery of the third.
Yeah, the umpires for today. Bandula, who's standing at square leg.
That ball worked to the vacant mid-wicket area. That'll be a single to finish things off. 9 from it, but the precious wicket of Katane Clark, 26 for 2 through 3.
The other person is Mark.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Richard Joshi took the first 2 from the Barrett Avenue end. It'll be Vatsal Vagela again from the San Pedro end for his second over of work. 2 fresh batsmen now at the crease after Phillips was sent walking in the second. And Katane Clark gone in the third over. Tapped right back to Vagela. That'll be a dot to start.
Mokela is so tight. In the first 6 overs, just what the doctor ordered for the Grizzlies. They missed him for most parts of this tournament. Oh, fantastic. Almost a replica of the previous delivery.
Same ball, same result.
And the length that he's bowling, he's also taking the cut shot out of equation. If you want to play the cut shot, you run the risk of being played on. And he's so quick.
Yeah, not a lot of flight on that ball right now from Vagela. He's getting on Ahmed in a hurry.
And he's also in Sami Aslam's good books because he finishes the over very quickly.
3 deliveries in, 3 dots. Here comes again from Vagela, trying to extend the arms. This one just wide of Zia Shahzad at long on. And they'll take a pair. The call 2 right out of the gate. 2 it shall be. Ahmed so far a quick 7 runs off the first 8 balls he's faced, looking to get himself settled in. They say you're most at risk of losing your wicket in the first 5 runs that you score, and so he's past that benchmark right now. That one got some purchase on the surface, though. A nice bit of movement to the offside, and that is going to run down to third man. They will pick up a single from it, but a scary little kick off the surface. Nice bit of turn for Vagela.
Vatsal Vagela is adjusting the field on the leg side here. He's got a man at cow corner. He wants him to be deep mid-wicket.
Other deep protection is at long off.
So that's a double bluff.
And indeed, that one goes straight through to the wicket-keeper's gloves. 3 runs from the over. Vagela continuing to work tidy. He is at the moment 1 wicket for 6 runs through his 2. 29 for the loss of 2 wickets.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
the two men out for SoCal Lashings, that is out in the middle, not out back in the HUD. But Silvagale has bowled another tremendous over. And for the first time, Anish gets it right on the money. Boy, is he in some rhythm. Wanted to take him on there, Zohaib Ahmed.
Excellent start there for Deshpande. Just one wicket so far on the season. Has not played in minor league cricket action since the 4th of July weekend down in Texas. And in fact, this is just his second appearance at Morgan Hill. The first one as a member of the Hollywood Master Blasters last year.
Oh, this one kept low, and that is something which all the batters would be wary of now. It is not an easy pitch. And the fact that you're playing the second game and there's another entire innings to play through, this is looking like a very tricky surface indeed, and you got to do that extra bit to bat through. If you want to bat well, you can't hit through the line. Anish Deshpande has got a lovely rhythm. The way he runs in, you could just watch it all day.
Yeah, very smooth. They refer to it sometimes as sneaky velocity there when it does finally come out of his hand. It doesn't have the same violent look that we might see from certain bowlers like a Mohammad Irfan Jr. or a Roshan Primus and Elmore Hutchinson, right? But getting every bit of the same kind of velocity on it.
This is what the coaches usually tell you. Have a nice free-flowing run-up, a gush of wind you need to face while you steam in towards the batter. He's getting everything right on that occasion. And always a left-armer is going to create that angle for the right-hander. Rajveer Singh Khosa is very quiet, 19, 20-year-old. His voice is a whisper. Doesn't talk much, otherwise just lets the bat talk. Again, somebody who finishes the over quickly.
We're talking about Rajveer over at the striker's end now. He's had himself a 33 at one point this season, but has struggled to go at a decent rate. That's going to help as he splits the protection inside the circle on the offside for a boundary to finish off the over. But overall this season, striking at a hair under 100. So looking here to provide a little bit of a boost as the power play comes to an end. And that the second boundary shot of the over, one for each Amit and Kosa. That will do it for the fielding restrictions. 9 from the final over. The power play 41 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Anish Deshpande continuing from the Barrett Avenue end of the ground for the Golden State Grizzlies, bowling as Zohaib Ahmad, as we now have the fielding restrictions released and a whole lot more protection out of the boundary, a little more space to try to continue to run those 1s and 2s though and mount this platform.
Something that Zohaib Ahmad loves doing, converting singles into 2s, playing the longer format of the game. Something that he's very known for back in Pakistan. Or not so much if it's in the T20 zone, he'll play the T20 way. Interestingly, he's waited for the 6 overs to finish before he goes for a shot of this kind. But had to do something to unsettle the bowler.
Well, certainly fine enough to avoid the fielder at long on. And targeting the Sunoco sign there, a ball with absolutely plenty of Sunoco on it. Quite a bit of pace.
Oh, that's just gentle. The first one was power. This was getting as less a bat as you can on it. Karan Chandel could watch it go by, couldn't do much. Poor delivery. Gets the result the batter wanted.
Turning Anish Deshpande's pace very much against him in 2 different ways. One with a hard swing to redirect it, the other one with the slightest of touches to get it wide of Karan Chandel.
The effortlessness with which 10 runs have been accumulated have been a treat to watch. He's crouching a little bit because he's expecting the ball to be pitched up and the ball's not bouncing as much. Quite in contrast to the way he faced the first ball, which was digged in shot, but still the problem was he got the elevation and the width to go for the shot. Anish Deshpande, once he saw the batter charge, could have bowled into him, decided to bowl away from him. Very tennis-like shot that. Oh, he's got to go back. It's a dot ball indeed. Anish Deshpande will feel much better.
Good quick work on the inner circle there from Bad on the first one, Aslam on the second to make sure that Amit's going nowhere. Slightly subpar power play for SoCal Lashings, but not by much. 41 for 2 at the end of the fielding restrictions and immediately beginning to break out here in the middle overs.
The calls for 2. And deliberately deft touch, not applying power to it to allow enough time to get to the second. Karan was running into the batter as well. Does well to evade him eventually. A bit of cricket, a bit of kabaddi. End of the over.
53 for 2.
1, 2, 3.
Gone 53 for 2. And a game where literally you'd be blown away with the wind picking up. Zia Shehzad. Oh, the wind is really picking up. If Rajveer Khosa decides to go straight down the ground, he might get value for his shots. Zia Shehzad's turning it away from the right-hander. He's got a good googly as well. You've got to be very watchful. Not if that's the length and line especially. If he drops it in the middle stump, that is when as a batter you're very confused because you know it can go either way. You've got to watch the batter till the last moment as a bowler, and at the same time as a batter you've got to watch Zia's hand in the last moment. Is it coming from the back of the hand or the side of the hand? Khosa wants a second run. Second run could be trouble. They're taking the throw on. Could have been touch and go. I don't think Zia was in the right position to collect that ball.
On a very slight bobble in the deep from Malik Junaid that permitted that. I'm not entirely sure it was on as the ball arrived at Junaid, but certainly forced him maybe to even remove his eyes from the ball for just that split second as he went to collect it. And that was enough to allow that second one to come in relatively comfortably.
Orb was a little late to pick this one up. Cannot get there. It will be for full toss. Just guided to the fence. Oh, this is a much better shot, and that is the importance of that second run being taken, Joe. That puts Rajveer back on strike and he gets a boundary.
And starting to show a little bit more of what he's capable of there. Just the second boundary that Rajveer has had so far. Young man looking to establish himself here in minor league cricket, and ample opportunities with SoCal largely trying to play out a proud string of games here and get a look at what they have potentially for next season.
Oh, that is a poor delivery. We'll wait for the umpire signal. Karan Chandel tried his best to stop it with his left leg. And it's time for the umpire Mandula to raise his right. It's leg by.
Slightly surprising thing to see the rate at which SoCal's scoring at the moment in this match, but the at this point here in the match, normally SoCal among the only teams that really slows down once the fielding restrictions come off by a few runs per over.
Quick over, but not tidy, as that boundary was given away off a full toss. 60 for 2. SoCal Lashings get a move on. Let's do it. Sohan Butt will start the proceedings from the far end. Sohan Butt is very promising youngster indeed. Gets you those important runs with the bat in hand towards the end. Gets you wickets at regular intervals with the ball in hand. Golden State Grizzlies, they've eked out wonderful performances from this man, but just hasn't been enough because they find themselves in a position where they have to rely on the last column of the points table. It's never a good sign.
No, not at all. The bat, though, it has been one of the biggest bright spots, as you were saying. I mean, somebody who came in as the clearest like-for-like swap you could have when Vatsal Vaghela went off on international duty, a left-arm spinner who's also 20 years old. And so he's been good enough to stay in the team after the return of Vaghela. That is not the ideal delivery, a bit too much in the way of width on offer there, and it splits the fielders on the offside, a 4 off the bat of Ahmad.
Zohaib Ahmed is dealing in boundaries. Quite in contrast to the first game, isn't it? Now this, of course, was Khosa.
Oh, apologies for that.
And Khosa has been helped with some ordinary bowling as well. Both the times, if he gets anything in the full toss region, he's just showing the full face of the bat. Rajveer Singh Khosa. Battle of the youngsters continues. That's one of the better things of 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. Tucked away for a single. He's called for two though because the throw is not on its way yet. We'll have to settle with a single eventually. I'm very surprised that they didn't go for the second on that occasion. Perhaps Khosa was on the back foot as he played this shot.
Could also be a little bit of respect for the arm of the young man out at long on, Aditya Srinivas.
No respect and no respite this time around. Sohan gets it wrong, Zohaib gets it right. And Joe Hickey's predictions of Zohaib getting a boundary have come through.
Yet again, clairvoyant. Clairvoyant, not mistaken, just clairvoyant.
Where are you hiding the crystal ball, Joe? I'll tell you what, with this tournament coming towards the business end, that would be very helpful. Where is the crystal ball?
I believe Tom Nielsen has it somewhere in a whole mass of spreadsheets.
He is a wizard. He's a wizard indeed. I'm talking of a wizard. The breeze is really picking up. Do you believe in omens? End of the over. A very eventful over, as much out there as much it was in the commentary box. Line was gone 71 for 2. We'll keep the chat alive.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
First ball of the 10th over is worked very, very fine and is going to make it all the way to the boundary off the bat of Rajveer Singh Khosa. Or correction, off of Zohaib Ahmad, I meant to say. Having some issues at the moment with the live scoring, making us question our own sanity and about whether we're seeing the right people at bat at any given moment.
We can't really blame live scoring for that, Joe. We've been trying to do that all weekend. Just off comms, though. Been trying to test each other's sanity. No, it's been great fun indeed.
At any rate, the captain calling his own number, and Sammy Aslam bowling now from the San Pedro end.
That's got height, no distance. Will Malik get to it? Would have been quite a catch if he does. He does indeed. It's one of the better catches. He didn't have to put in the dive. In that run-in, was able to get to the nearest fielder as well for celebration. Everything going right for Malik on that occasion. And a moment of brilliance on the field has come by for Grizzlies to lift their shoulders up once again.
Junaid at absolute full stretch on that one. Needed to cover an awful lot of ground. Was pushed all the way back to the boundary rope with the powerful Amit at the crease. But that is going to be all she wrote for him. Departs for 36 runs off of 29 deliveries. Was just starting to get that acceleration moving, but will have to depart.
It just felt like he wasn't 100% going through with that shot as well. Almost immediately you could sense that he didn't get it from the best part of the bat. It was only height. But Malik gets there with a running catch. Didn't have to put in a dive at the end. Just probably saving the dive for another occasion, but was perfect in getting there. So Malik, you look at him and you would say perhaps not the fittest, but he is able to deliver the goods, and that's what is something that his team wants from him, and he's delivering it quite nicely. And he was at the edge of the boundary rope as well. It sort of helps, isn't it? What a good catch that was.
So Harpreet Singh, the new man at the crease. Although he stands at the moment at the non-striker's end, the batter's crossed over, which, at least until October, is still a thing.
We've talked about the financial year beginning in the middle of the year suddenly, in March. Similarly, for a cricket fan, there's another year beginning altogether in October. Just don't want to see Khosa get into a shell now because the wicket has fallen. He's got to continue to play his natural game. Harpreet Singh joins Khosa. Now Harpreet Singh has been amongst runs. He's getting starts, but where are the big ones? We'll want to believe this is the day where he can get the bigger innings out of the way.
Well, he was part of a nice partnership in the morning game. The 49 runs to finish that one off without either he nor his partner being dismissed. A misfield inside the circle. Sohan Bhatt.
Would you believe it? I'll tell you what, had he waited for the ball to trickle to him, they still would have thought about that single. But the fact that he charged and saw it go past is one of those funny moments indeed. End of the over completes with a single which shouldn't have been one. At the halfway stage, SoCal Lashings 75 for 3. 75 for 3, right? Yeah. Change of ends for... is it Watson or Sohan?
I believe still Sohan Bhatt in the attack here.
Yeah, then it's not change of ends for him. Just continues from where he bowled the previous one. Now Harpreet, he's getting to play a spin and he loves to play a spin indeed. But he's a little curtailed by the fact that now would be a single. Any other day could have put that away. It's a full toss at a comfortable height. It's just a little curtailed by the fact that he doesn't want two new men at the crease suddenly if he gets out. Khosa has got a couple of good shots under his belt, but still is not looking 100% fluent. What a good collect by Karan. White ball it is nonetheless. Just a polite inquiry to umpire at square leg Bandula. Bandula is walking towards the stumps, but I think Karan's quick enough to finish the furniture before he arrive.
I don't know, it's still blinking. Now, Harpreet, to your point, so far this season hasn't really had much chance to bat against spin. Coming into the weekend, had faced just 25 deliveries against spinners.
Yes, I was talking to him between games and I asked him, what do you prefer, pacers or spinners? We said, well, on this track, spin, because the ball's not bouncing as much when the pacers are bowling at me. Otherwise, still spin. And he's someone who travels a bit to Canada as well to play, and he says the spinners get a lot of wickets there, so he loves to bowl spin and play spin there. But of course, you've got the stats up for this one.
Well, and to that point, his strike rate definitely higher against spinners, 132 compared to 120, but his average is about half as much against spin. So he's getting dismissed an awful lot this season against spin bowling, more so than usual, but is scoring faster.
Tough love.
He loves the spin, but it doesn't always love him back.
Much like chemistry for me and not for you. End of the over. They're just trying to get a move on here, SoCal Lashings. They're still searching for the big boundaries though. 11 overs gone. This building phase continues, 79 for 3.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Sammy Haslam, the captain, back into the attack, and the first delivery to Khosa is shot down toward point. That'll be a single to start things here. A reminder that Toyota Minor League Cricket also brought to you by DAFA News. We'll continue to keep an eye out for the DAFA News shot of the day. Had a few candidates in the first game, yet to see anybody really cut loose, although that is gorgeous. Coming out here towards Zia Shahzad at long on.
Not bouncing as much, and Harpreet is a tall lad indeed. He loves the ball coming onto the bat. It's not bouncing as much and it's causing him troubles.
Pair of singles to start off the over.
Oh,
The next delivery from Aslam, shot again between the two fielders on the offside inside the circle.
Change it this way so I can see.
And another single. Content at the moment to continue to deal in these. We've had a few overs go by now without a boundary. Looking for one now as that's right back over the head of Aslam. Long run, but Zia Shahzad equal to it. The throw's going to go down to the wicketkeeper's end where Hossa was out to lunch for just a moment there, about halfway down the track, but luckily the throw well wide.
Strong arm for a spinner for sure. And Zia Shahzad gets the throw at the striker's end.
I get the sense that Shahzad a spinner by choice, not by necessity.
No, he started off as a pace bowler, then converted himself into and transformed himself into a leg spinner for the sake of the side. Again, played a lot of cricket all around the world. We've seen him play in Hong Kong. Of course, he's a renowned name in Pakistan. The boys in Peshawar love him a lot.
That one looking to split the fielders at the boundary on the onside, but it will be claimed. Looks like it's going to be just a single from it. Vatsal Vagela, good work to get that. And speaking of spinners with strong arms.
Fantastic stuff indeed. Just converting a boundary into a single. 3 important runs saved as SoCal Lashings after 12 find themselves at 85 for 3.
Bot continuing from the Barrett Avenue end for a third over on the trot, bowling into a ever-stiffening wind here in Morgan Hill. That one pushed by Singh, just fine of Sohan Bhatt, and very nearly got a hand to it.
Sohan Bhatt is also very handy on the field. And as we were discussing, Joe, earlier in the day as well, the bowlers are the best fielders of their own bowling. Inside out, we've been waiting for a while to see this shot from Khosa. Doesn't have enough bat percentage on it to send it for 4. The torque sort of helps you if you're running towards the ball and the ball spins towards you.
No, without doubt. And certainly no one's going to be more locked in on it than the man who has the chance to spare his own bowling figures by getting a hand to the ball. Not to call them self-serving or anything, but you know. Third ball of the over, Khosa, that is a shot there. And at long last, another boundary. It had been a good 3.5 overs since we'd seen one. Delivered nicely to cow corner.
Oh, the mental game that's being played between Khosa and Sohan. So wonderful to watch. Khosa dancing down the track in the previous ball, expecting to do the same thing, but stays put. Sohan drops it short and Khosa finds a boundary. Very quickly latches onto it as well. Just love this little contest that's going on. Sohan just expecting him to dance down the track, but look at him sit deep and smash it away for 4. Again gets it in the gap. Suddenly Khosa would believe there are no fielders.
And you reach a certain point in the middle of an innings, you start to feel yourself a little bit, and all of a sudden all you see are gaps. Singh extending the arms. This is in the air and a chance taken at long off, and Harpreet Singh's day will be a brief one as well.
Now the struggle continues. Harpreet Singh's lapse in concentration has cost him his wicket. The decision of Sami Aslam to stick with Sohan for another over, that has been vindified with this wicket. Partnership broken. More pressure on Khosa. Can he provide the big finish now?
Just 19 from the partnership, 6 contributed off of 9 balls from Harpreet Singh. It'll be Elmore Hutchinson in perhaps an over or 2 earlier than he would like at this juncture. Somebody who specialized in death batsmanship It's going to have to come in here in over number 13.
Bottle. I don't want it cold. That's
Even if you want food.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Here as we hit over number 14, and it does appear the young man Vatsal Vagela is going to give us left-hand spin from both sides of the pitch here in just a moment. And Suhas, in the break here between overs, you were commenting Sami Aslam, the captaincy, absolutely impressing you at this point.
Oh, absolutely. The moment he sees that there is something for the spinners here, as this one would be an under edge, he's just unleashed the spinners from either end. So Hans put his hand up, picked up a wicket. Vatsal Vagela has been very tight. He's an all-round cricketer, Vatsal Vagela. And they've strung a web around the batters, not letting them breathe freely. Joe, making them play shots which are outside their comfort zone, much like this one. This should be taken, put down. An easier catch was taken, and to put the world back in balance, he's dropped a simple one.
This time around, nowhere near as much ground to cover, that coming up at roughly chest height as Junaid looked to squeeze it. But like you said, a little bit of karmic justice. A spectacular catch earlier in the piece. And Hutchinson spared going with just a run to his name.
How much will Hutchinson make them pay for this? That's a very good delivery once again. Vatsal Vagela is such a quick learner too. He's already got a measure of where exactly to pitch on this kind of a track. What are the areas where he can make a mental note of, where the ball's not bouncing as much, where the batter is expecting more.
We will see indeed if Hutchinson can make them pay for this. He's somebody who has been absolutely dangerous in the death overs, striking at about 186 once you reach the final 5. Vagela and company would love to dislodge him before that.
Now Vatsal Vagela, he's changed the personnel, not the field.
Does appear now to be Shivam Mishra in the position that Junaid has been. Great diving snag by Sami Aslam to keep that on the infield and prevent a run being taken. Still now 1 off of 4 deliveries to start this over. Just 7 runs off of 2.4 overs against Vagela.
Slight change in field. Now the sweeper gets a little wider, squarer.
Going a little bit more body line on that delivery as Vagela will be dumped into the onside square leg area. Single for Khosa, and it'll be Hutchinson to face the final delivery of over number 14. We've seen Vagela so far this season continue his wicket-taking ways, but be rather expensive. Today, he is showing absolutely everything he's capable of. Gets Hutchinson fending for that one, but unable to make contact. Just 2 off the over, 96 for 4. 96 for 4, 6 overs left here for SoCal Lashings to put together a total capable of being defended. They've averaged a little bit over 140 in the first innings when they've been put in this season to bat first. 146 actually, but they've yet to successfully defend a total this season in minor league cricket. 0-3 when batting first. Ooh. Getting a look at Sohan Bhatt one last time here. It'll be his 4th over of work in succession from the Barrett Avenue end, and thus the end of his spell. Delivery to Hutchinson, another big swing and a miss. He is struggling to line it up against the lefty spinners.
Has someone told him it's the 19th over or the 18th over? Why did he have to go for a shot of that kind? Elmore Hutchinson is probably saying, this is the way I bat, let me do. That is from the middle of the bat. Oof. Over the side screen, never to be seen again. Very ironical.
I want to have a witty response to that, but I decided to just let
Go for it, come on, go for it.
No, I got nothing.
No, I think it'll take a bit of time to retrieve that piece of leather.
Well, that'll give me some time to work something out then in that case.
Joe? Oh God, I think there's a conversation coming up at the end of the over between the 2 overs, I know.
All I know is that that ball decided to go with Toyota's motto, which is "Let's go places."
Oh, absolutely.
That was absolutely scalded by Hutchinson, and even with help from the other field where East Bay and Hollywood Master Blasters are taking one another on, it has taken some time to go get that. We've had that happen a handful of times, complaining perhaps about one shot and wondering, oh, why would you do that? And then the very next ball gets destroyed 100 meters or thereabouts directly over the bowler's head. And for Sohan Bhatt now, we've talked before about needing some bravery.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever he does here is going to be brave, because after a ball gets hit off of you like that, I just turn tail and go home.
Sohan Bhatt, can he script a comeback? He's got 2 deliveries up his sleeve to do so. Catch it is the call. And that will do.
And indeed,
Elmore Hutchinson, a soft dismissal of a hardcore hitter. Perhaps the grit has paid off. Getting hit for a 6-1 moment, coming back with a beautiful catch the next. This was perhaps in the zone for that jump catch as well.
Indeed, well, Sohan Bhatt on that one, he let go of that ball so quickly in celebration, I thought he dropped it. It took us a moment to recognize that Hutchinson indeed had departed, so a little bit of fire and ice right there. Fire off the bat of Elmore Hutchinson and ice in the veins of Sohan Bhatt in order to end Elmore's stay at the crease.
Do you see the benefits of not turning tail?
Oh, absolutely.
Fight till the last moment. Sohan Bhatt comes from that school of thought. And Sohan Bhatt has the last laugh indeed. One more delivery up his sleeve to finish his 4 overs. And so far he's picked up 2 wickets and created 2 more opportunities.
Well, to the discussion of turning tail and leaving. Sohan Bhatt, half my age, but perhaps twice the man.
That's a tremendous catch indeed. Probably fueled by Sunoco to get to jump that high to complete the catch indeed. Because I'll tell you what, even slightly uppish drive from Elmore Hutchinson would mean it is uppish indeed.
So with Hutchinson in the shed, it'll be Abhimanyu Rajapurohit into the crease to face off with Bhatt. It'll be his final delivery of the day's affair, coming from the lefty spinner.
Heaves it on the leg side, doesn't get it from the best part of the bat, but enough to get going. Picks up a single, opens his account, and in the process regains strike as well. Score. 15 overs gone, 104 for 5.
1, 2, 3.
Vatsal Vagela continuing from the San Pedro end as we hit the death overs. Over number 16, he'll face off with Raj Purohit. First delivery is dumped into the vacant mid-wicket area for a single. Rajveer Khosa, we've mentioned, has managed to extend his stay at the crease. He comes back on strike here, but 31 balls off 31 deliveries. The speed of accumulation just has not been there for SoCal Lashings today. Golden State Grizzlies have found something with the spin, and they're doing it from both ends and holding this team largely in check, taking regular wickets and avoiding boundaries.
And Vatsal Vagela is on the cusp of completing one of his best figures ever. One of his best performances.
Targeting the stumps on that one, and it's hit back towards mid-on. Up comes Zia Shahzad to grab it. It'll be a single for Khosa.
And 4 more deliveries to go for Vatsal Vagela. Perhaps a little less.
Yeah, Vagela this season, best figures depending on whether you look at it by economy or by wickets taken. He took 3 for 43 in his game against East Bay Blazers back towards the beginning of the season. 1 for 12 though in 4 overs against the SoCal Lashings, and Vagela targeting the stumps with a throw.
Excellent run by Abhimanyu Rajpurohit. Playing it with soft hands, calling for the single as well. Again, a little moment of brilliance from the seasoned campaigner. Vatsal Vagela initially thought the single was just not there to be taken. A little late to realize perhaps that it was there indeed. Taking his arm on as well in the end. Single completed, but a mini battle won by Abhimanyu Rajpurohit. Very well. You got to have this very flexible legs as well as a keeper. We've seen Dhoni do it at the international level. Karan Chandel borrowing a leave out of his book. And we've seen Josh Butler do it as well with England.
Oh, very impressive work to ensure that that one did not go flying back for a few wides. Or rather buys, I should say.
Buys it shall be, because it was a legal delivery. Dot ball to finish off. Vatsal Vagela take a bow. In his quota of 4, has picked up a wicket and given away just 11, an unreal economy of 2.87 to keep the SoCal Lashings in trouble. 16 overs gone, 107 for 5. Who will provide the big finish? What? Everything is flying away.
The blue compression sleeve getting ready to uncoil and fire in some heat in over number 17. He'll be coming at us from the Barrett Avenue end. We'll be facing Raj Purohit for the first ball here.
And I genuinely believe Abhimanyu would go for the straighter boundaries. Once again, he'd borrow a leaf out of Elmore Hutchinson's book and target the straighter boundaries. Abhimanyu Rajpurohit loves width, probably will create width for himself. That was the idea, to slap it straight back.
Dot ball to start, 15 off of 13 balls so far against Anish Deshpande. Nice work so far, especially compared to a double-digit economy so far on the season. Making the argument to be a bigger part of the plans perhaps next year.
He can definitely earn some brownie points if he can pick up a wicket, and that too of Raj Purohit. Raj Purohit goes big. The angle changes, decision doesn't, result doesn't. Goes big, gets the 6, and it's just the first of many more to come, it seems.
And I'll tell you who's got spectacular game awareness, and that's the man over on the other field who caught that on a hop.
Very quickly, tell me who's number 3, the jersey number 3. I'm telling you without the binoculars.
That would be AJ Amati. So yeah, I've got the roster memorized. You've got the eyesight. Works out beautifully.
Yeah, that's one commentary pair that can complement each other. Very well done, Joe. Very well done. Goes big, doesn't have the elevation, will fall safely. But Abhimanyu Rajpurohit would give everything to be back on strike because he's enjoying batting at the moment.
They do take the quick two. That'll make sure that he stays on there underneath the red cap.
Oh yeah, he's holding on to the line.
Has that Rajpurohit continues to bat without a helmet against the speed of Deshpande. I know it's a pretty typical thing to see against a spinner, but I would have thought they would have made him put the lid back on.
No, Abhimanyu Rajpurohit, it wasn't the best track to bat on in San Diego. The ball was bouncing up and down. The keeper decided not to go up to the stumps, and here he was batting with just a cap. There he was. So it sort of continues. I think it's just a challenge to the bowler. Try and bowl shot to me.
Do you want that on your conscience? After the wide, here comes another delivery to Rajpurohit, and that is straight back over the bowler's head. Maybe he's the one that needs the helmet, as that heads fine of the man at long on and over the boundary for a 4.
Second time in the over, the East Bay Blazers had to field, and it's not a good sign for the Golden State Grizzlies. Abhimanyu Rajpurohit is intervening with the game alongside that's happening. And he's doing so in the best possible manner and the most legal manner.
"13 already off the over. A 6, a 4, a 2, and a wide. Here comes the 5th delivery. That one in the air, trying to camp under it on the back pedal and managing to stabilize himself and take the catch. Wow.
Difficult take. It was going over his shoulder. He's made it look so simple because in the end he didn't require the dive. Could have been an old story of overrunning, but those long levers of Zia Shehzad clasping the ball to perfection in the end. Abhimanyu Rajpurohit's glimmer of hope of providing a crescendo finish has come to an end. SoCal Lashings still require those crucial 20 runs on a track which is keeping low at times. 140, I think, would be par.
120 for 6 at this juncture as Rajpurohit has seen his day come to an end, and not an uncommon thing when pressing at the finish, going for the big shots and eventually catching an edge. But Zia Shehzad having to fight this wind that is currently also trying to jostle all of our game notes all over the place here in the comms. That's maybe something to do with the stumble, the back pedal, and then eventually the slamming onto the brakes.
Yeah, when we are complaining of the wind, or not to complain, but perhaps probably noting the wind, you've got to think about Andrew, who's up top handling the camera. He's holding on to dear life. And ever so slightly, as so often Ryan does here with us, just tells us give him a parachute, just in case. I tell you what, as soon as this game ends, you give him a parachute, you'd find him on the hills alongside.
Yeah, maybe a zip line. Maybe that's the solution.
Can't even get the angle. It looks like a parachute up there.
Kosa will face the final delivery from Anish Deshpande in what's been an eventful over, and he looks to put this one over the top between the men at long on and mid wicket, and that will end up on field number 2. Over on the roll, a 4 to finish things off.
Oh, it's one of those overs where the ball's found itself in the field adjacent very, very often. 17 overs gone, 124 for 6 as momentum is being gathered by SoCal Lashings for a big finish.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
a 9-over spell of spin from Semi Aslam, courtesy of himself, Vagela, and Bhatt. Does not quite come off the way he might have drawn it up. 17 runs off the over, though they do get Abhimanyu Rajapurohit on delivery number 5 of that over. Zia Shahzad now coming from the San Pedro end with the leg spin.
And does well to start off. He's expecting the batter to come down the track as well. He's bowling a little wider. It's important to bowl wide, because not too wide though. It's important to do so because you wanted to keep it out of reach. You want it to be out of reach of the batter. This one following. So two ways of approaching when the batter is trying to attack you. One is to keep it away from the angle so that he has to throw his bat at it, and one is to follow him so that he doesn't have enough width to generate the power to hit it away. Zia Shahzad is borrowing both schools of thought. Oh, what a lovely shot. Will that be carrying though? Taken. Cool, calm and collected under Shivam.
Emphasis on collected.
A very good catch indeed. For a moment it looked like he was flying away. As the ball dipped down, you realize didn't have elevation, didn't have the distance. Another one bites the dust as Rajveer Khosa is looking at his partner's walk to the other pavilion. Just walk to the pavilion. In comes another. Just get a feeling Rajveer Khosa would feel the pinch to provide the crescendo finish, because all the other batters are getting starts by walking back.
And Sanchit Sandhu gone with without a run to his name. He came in at the non-striker's end at the end of the last over. I believe that may be an error, because I'm pretty sure that was Khosa that scored the 4 to finish off that last over. So that ought to be credited to him. He got a single to start this one, a dot followed immediately by the wicket against Sandhu. So the end of the day for him.
Yeah, Sandhu 0.
Khosa remains in. They did cross over, so he will be the man at the striker's end to face Shahzad. 3 deliveries left in the over.
Skandar Rohit Sharma comes to the middle. Someone who's tailor-made for the 50-over format, is finding his feet in T20. Skandar Rohit Sharma, such a treat to watch when he gets going, especially in the 50-over. The reason I tell you is I had the chance of watching him play in Houston. I was back in India watching him play that magnificent innings.
A high score for Skandar Rohit Sharma on the season of 28. Had a 24 playing last year for the East Bay Blazers. Right now, though, it's Khosa putting the ball to the offside. Malik Junaid up with it over in the covers. The single for him. 1 ball left here in the frame. Shahzad so far has bowled a tidy one. And it continues tidy yet again. A dot. Oh, excuse me. Correction on that. That is a wide delivery. Free run conceded.
It did generate the leading edge, but doesn't carry. A question that goes unanswered. But nonetheless, is getting some momentum here, the Golden State Grizzlies. 18 overs gone. 129 for 7.
Here, Ruchir Joshi on from the Barrett Avenue end for the final over that will be bowled from that side. Facing off with Rajveer Khosa. First delivery, a swing and a miss, and a dot ball to begin.
If you can get the tram line right as a bowler, when you're bowling to Rajveer Khosa, has got the long levers to reach the ball, then you've done a tremendous job indeed. Rajveer Khosa has a word with Skanda Rohit Sharma. Rajveer Khosa, someone who's got the capability to go over the top and clear any boundary in the world. He's expected to come good today, but if that's the delivery, he doesn't need to go chasing. It's the reputation of Rajveer Khosa which has cost the bowler to bowl that wide. Once again, a longer innings for Rajveer Khosa. Played a similar kind of an innings against San Diego Surf Riders in San Diego. But he's taking his time to get going and making bowlers bowl one wide after the other. He can't even be blaming the wind because it's blowing in the other direction. The ball's going in the other.
So on some of the evidence we've seen throughout, perhaps wise to keep it out of Khosa's arc, but still someone who's going at a little under a run a ball. We've never quite seen the acceleration. He is capable of getting boundaries. He's had 5 fours, and there's targeting one there. A diving attempt and not taken by the man at extra cover. So it will be a single for Rajveer Khosa, and he has spared blushes of potentially losing his wicket on a ball that nearly did hang up there and perhaps was indeed a chance.
Our game is so much about the inches, isn't it? Does so very well there. Does so very well to get to the ball, dives to perfection, but the ball doesn't stick. Rajveer Khosa survives to tell another tale. Skanda Rohit Sharma gets it in the gap too, but will get a single. Looks like he didn't read the lack of pace on that one. Single it is to feed the strike to the big hitter Rajveer Khosa. SoCal Lashings are looking up to him to provide the crescendo finish. What they've got at the moment is far from it. On a tricky track, we've talked about the importance of at least 140. They've got 130 and would be preparing themselves to launch to get 150, the psychological total. Skanda wants the single. Will not get it at all. Rajveer Khosa trusts his instincts, trusts his power to go for the big shot in this over itself. 150 on the cards, you believe, Joe?
It's going to take something special here, and we've got 2 batters that on the season have generally batted with strike rates around 85, 90, 95. So I have a tough time believing it, but I've been proved wrong before. That one in the air, caught and bowled.
That seems to be the order of the day. All big hitters gently tapping it ball to the bowler himself. Rajveer Khosa, after a good innings, has to depart. He is not the man for the day. For SoCal Lashings, they're still in search of those 20 crucial runs to get to a cushion of 150. It's 130 for a 7. 8, I beg your pardon, with that wicket. 130 for 8 with 1 more ball to go to finish the 19th. Superman. No, it's a bird. It's a bird. No, it's Andrew. The window. 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. SoCal Lashings 130 for 8 at the moment. 7 deliveries left in the kitty for them to get to 150, which is psychological. 145 is something they'll be proud of too. With 2 wickets in hand, a danger of being bundled out as well.
It'll fall to a man who's hardly had an innings over the last couple of weeks. And then Dilpreet Billing, one of the bowlers, who's got 2 runs to his name on the season to try to get that done. A dot ball here to finish off the over. 2 off the bat, 2 wides, 130 for 9. 8.
You picked up a wicket.
1, 2, 3.
19 overs gone, 130 for 8. A cheeky, and it pays off. Just the way to start the over. SoCal Lashings get a boundary first ball. Zia has been asked to think about other plans.
Reverse sweep there from Skanda Rohit Sharma, and somewhere Peter Della Penna just started smiling and doesn't know why.
Well, it's a beautiful shot indeed. Skanda goes again, this time misses it completely, but I'll tell you what, a ball which he wanted to bowl outside the off stump has served the purpose, even though for Skanda it is one on the leg side, because he's quite comfortable turning into a left-hander. The change in pace is also working for Zia Shehzad, but not on that occasion. Looks like he split the field. Will he take it? No! 9 out of 10 times that could have been taken, but that's travelled for 4.
In fact, I believe the signal is a 6.
6, oh, 6 it is. I think you were thrown off a little bit by the celebration once again.
It's been about the only thing that Vatsal Vagela has done wrong the entire first innings, is be unable to squeeze that one. And so 10 quick runs here off of 3 deliveries. And Skanda Rohit Sharma back in the Bay Area after his season last year with the East Bay Blazers, finding himself right at home.
Oh, this should be taken. This should be catch practice. Zia Shehzad's called for it. It's quite a run, but he's completed the catch. We've seen not 1 but 2 good catches from Golden State Grizzlies. Once again, a bowler proving to be the perfect fielder for the occasion.
That's the 3rd caught in bold, but the idea that that is going to be held in the same class as either of the first 2, there's no way that the scorebook is going to do that justice. That was an outstanding run and grab from Zia Shehzad.
Didn't look right, didn't look left. He looked up and called mine, 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 no one come near me, and completed a very good catch indeed.
So we're down to 10 and 11 out there. Dilpreet Billing will face the penultimate delivery of the innings as he and Skanda Rohit Sharma crossed, because that ball was in the air for a solid 7 seconds, it felt. Gayan Fernando down at the non-striker's end is in at 11.
Yeah, the 10 and jack out there. Gayan Fernando is having a word with the keeper, and I really hope it's not sledging, because this game's being played with a lot of camaraderie. Gayan Fernando goes for the big shot. Big appeal. There was an inside edge. Now the finger has come up. Bandula took his own time, but the finger has come up, and that means SoCal Lashings have been bundled out. SoCal Lashings, who were looking for a total above 150, they are bundled out.
And it'll be a target of 141 when we come back in 10 minutes' time for Golden State Grizzlies to chase down. And as we've mentioned before, number 1, they're going to be in need of a win, period. But number 2, with a target like that to chase, a chance, if you want to hit the accelerator a little earlier, to try to make up some ground on net run rate. Heaven knows Seattle did some work this morning to try to put that out of reach. If Seattle win tomorrow morning against San Diego, even Golden State running the table, the best they could do is tie the Thunderbolts, so they need to have that at least in mind. The only chance they've really got is to win this one big, and so we'll see perhaps an aggressive attempt to chase down 140 as fast as possible when we come back.
The SoCal Lashings were looking good for 150 plus on one occasion, but the death bowling has been done to perfection. Golden State Grizzlies would be mighty proud of their effort. They've pulled it back to 140. 141 is still a lot of runs on a track which is keeping low at times. Would they be able to get there? We'll wait and watch, as we will join you with every ball of that run chase in 10 minutes' time.
Now works this one away and over the top of the man at mid-off. Off. That's in the air. Could be a chance, and Zia Shehzad will take it. And again, a very brief day for Dale Phillips, even less productive than the first one. Has been awarded in the past, also of the shot of the match, and that is an attempt at one, although boy, that will have put their hearts in their mouths for just a moment.
Really on, always helpful. And Katany Clark's going through this one, doesn't get the elevation. The surviving opener is also someone who gets caught at mid-on.
That one is going to split the fielders on the offside and run away to the boundary rope. Zohaib Ahmed on target there. Himself a 33 at one point this season, but struggled to go at a decent rate. That's going to help as he splits the protection inside the circle on the offside for a boundary to finish off the over. But
oh, not so much. If it's in the T20 zone, he'll play the T20 way. Oh, that's just gentle. The first one was power. This was getting as less bat as you can on it.
That was enough to allow that second one to come in relatively comfortably.
Orb was a little late to pick this one up. Cannot get there. It will be for
Spinner, who's also 20 years old. And so he's been good enough to stay in the team after the return of Vagela. That is not the ideal delivery, a bit too much. A little bit of respect for the arm of the young man out at long on, Aditya Srinivas.
No respect and no respite.
First ball of the 10th over is worked very, very fine and is going to make it all the way to the boundary. And Sami Aslam bowling now from the San Pedro end.
That's got height, no distance. Will Malik get to it? Would have been quite a catch if he does. He does indeed. It's one of the better catches. He didn't have to put in the dive. In that run-in, was able to get to the nearest fielder as well for celebration.
Or anything, but you know. Third ball of the over, Kosa. That is a shot there. And at long last, another boundary. It had been our gaps. Singh extending the arms. This is in the air and a chance taken at long off. And Harpreet Singh's day will be a brief one as well.
Really, Joe? Making them play shots which are outside their comfort zone, much like this one. This should be taken to put down. An easier catch was taken, and to put the world back in balance, he's dropped a simple one. Hutchinson is probably saying, this is the way I bat, let me do. That is from the middle of the bat. Oof. Over the side screen, never to be seen again. Very ironical. He's got two deliveries up his sleeve to do so. Catch it is the call. And that will do.
And indeed,
Elmore Hutchinson, a soft dismissal of a hardcore hitter. And pick up a wicket, and that too of Raj Purohit. Raj Purohit goes big. The angle changes, decision doesn't, result doesn't. Goes big.
After the wide, here comes another delivery to Raj Purohit, and that is straight back over the bowler's head. Maybe he's the one that needs the helmet, as that heads fine of the man at long on. 6, a 4, a 2, and a wide. Here comes the fifth delivery. That one in the air, trying to camp under it on the back pedal and managing to stabilize himself and take the catch. The final delivery from Anish Deshpande in what's been an eventful over, and he looks to put this one over the top between the men at long on and mid-wicket, and that will end up on field number 2.
Zia Shehzad is borrowing both schools of thought. Oh, what a lovely shot. Will that be carrying though? Taken. Cool, calm and collected under Shivam.
MB95, so I have a tough time believing it, but I've been proved wrong before. That one in the air, caught and bowled.
That seems to be the order of the day. 19 overs gone, 130 for 8. A cheeky, and it pays off. Just the way it is. The change in pace is also working for Zia Shehzad, but not on that occasion. Looks like he split the field. Will he take it? No. 9 out of 10 times that could have been taken, but that's travelled for 4. Oh, this should be taken. This should be catch practice. Zia Shehzad's called for it. It's quite a run, but he's completed the catch. We've seen not one, but 2 good catches. Kayan Fernando goes for the big shot. Big appeal. There was an inside edge. Now the finger has come up. Bandula took his own time, but the finger has come up, and that means SoCal Lashings have been bundled out. SoCal Lashings.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
of this second innings. A chase of 141 on tap for the Golden State Grizzlies. And we'll see Malik Junaid facing the first deliveries of the innings for him. So far on the season, a 128 strike rate, a very attack-minded batter, although much more so and much faster scoring so far this year against spin. His average sitting at just a shade under 26 in the 3 innings he's batted.
Here's Hutchinson. And the ball is darting away after pitching. So much movement. Oh, you're going to love this if you're a connoisseur of good bowling. Malik Junaid got off to a flying start against San Diego Surf Riders in LA. That's perhaps the only innings that he has shined.
Indeed, Junaid hasn't seen a lot of use this season. Went for 49 before getting stumped down in San Diego, and then 22 in the second game against them. 6 off of 10 the last time he batted against Silicon Valley Strikers.
Oh yes, 49 of 34. That was a good innings, in fact, because of the way he was always applying pressure on the bowlers. And his shot selection. Very powerful hitter of the cricket ball. Now finds himself against international caliber, Elmore Hutchinson.
Without doubt, Junaid's somebody who plays an attacking shot to roughly 4 out of every 5 balls he faces.
Perhaps very dynamic, much like Toyota Tundra. A good bouncer, a bouncer that makes him sniff leather.
In fact, the finger up, apparently a feathered edge to that one, and that'll be it for Malik Junaid on the 3rd delivery he faces.
Oh, that's the end of one looming thread. Malik Junaid neutralized. Golden State Grizzlies have lost an early wicket and an important one too. More pressure on captain now, Sami Aslam.
On those sorts of edged balls, very much what Junaid was plying his trade with, even in that 49. I counted at least 3 or 4 boundary shots that were the results of very fine thin edges that just did evade the grasp of the wicketkeeper. Could have very easily gone a lot earlier in that innings, and today the edge gets him right off the bat.
And if you look at that innings and you talk to him after the game, he'd say a couple of them were very deliberate because the keeper of San Diego Surf Riders didn't seem to learn from it. Iftikhar Ahmed. Now it's Iftikhar. Earlier we'd probably had to check who it was. Sami Aslam gets a new partner in the middle. Zia?
Does appear, yes indeed. We will now be seeing Zia Shahzad. So a bit of a surprise, Karan Chandel not being used early on, brought down the lineup a little bit.
Lahore. Zia Shahzad and Sami Aslam, both of them have played a lot of cricket together and a lot of T20 cricket in particular together all around the world, be it Hong Kong, be it Oman. Zia Shahzad would be easy to get going, actually, Joe.
Well, he's been feast or famine as of late, and if the current pattern holds, he's due for feast. Right now, a 21 against San Diego, followed by a golden duck against Silicon Valley, 40 off 35 against East Bay, followed by a duck against Silicon Valley. Suffice to say, he's going to be happy not to see them anymore.
Says a man of extremes.
He survived the first ball he's seen, though, at this point, so...
A glorious shot. Nobody move. Just so elegant with the way he's placed this to perfection. That's a shot that even Sami Aslam from the other end would have enjoyed.
It might well be what the conversation's about right now.
Oh, yeah.
Good work there. Shades of 2021 for Zia Shahzad, a year when he scored 381 runs. A year in which he was regarded as one of the top all-rounders in the entire league. This season had a really hard time firing with the bat, but we saw already what he brings to you in terms of bowling in the first innings. A big part of the late attack in the death overs for Golden State Grizzlies. They've been very good, taking roughly a wicket per over at the death this season.
A wicket per over has been excellent. Many teams would kill for it. Wicket per over towards the death when the opposition wants momentum. This one didn't bounce as much. Dale Phillips does well. Had he not collected it, don't think it would have been 4, but it would have been 5 as it would have hit the helmet. Bandula is suggesting that you've got to be careful with the front foot. Elmo Hutchinson nods in acknowledgement into the over. 13 for 1. And this is...
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Let's see if this gets any better.
Yesterday we had that tape, right? Sorry, last. Do you have that tape thing? If we can have scores on this, we can just keep it like this. I'll just back this. Box has been the most handy thing today. We were wondering it doesn't sit right here.
Third over, and it's spin from
oh, glory.
The Barrett Avenue end, and a beautiful cut shot behind the point region. Sami Aslam, another boundary.
Third time Sami Aslam has gone through the region. Third time he's found a boundary.
It's a hat trick of 4s right there for Sami on either side. Didn't face a ball against Elmore Hutchinson. That all fell to Junaid and to Zia.
Oh, what a good shot that was again. He's executing the cut shot to perfection today.
It is a change of bowlers. Still spin from that end, but now Harpreet Singh in the air just over Sanchit Sandhu, who was on his way in, it seemed, as the ball went over his head. It's not going to make it to the boundary rope. It will just be a pair as Aslam sends Zia Shahzad back.
I think he didn't see the ball, didn't pick the ball. Had he hung back, could have been an opportunity for the catch because he would have cut down on the angle. Instead, he was moving the other direction and moving forward. Didn't pick the ball at all. You got to say that Sami Aslam survived. The wind is not dying down. Sami Aslam would look to go through the offside. Finds the fielder this time around, Abhimanyu Raj Purohit, but Sami Aslam knows that he's got the boundary early on. He's allowed to play those couple of dot deliveries. Slightly short, that's in the gap too. Anything short, that's been treated with some disdain. Sami Aslam dealing in boundaries.
And last time these two teams met, it was Sami Aslam's highest score of the season, a 79 off of 55. In fact, along with that, Chandel, Shahzad, and Hamad Azam all had their second highest scores of the season in that game against SoCal Lashings on opening day. It's been a rough go of it for the Grizzlies ever since that 18-run victory.
SoCal Lashings looking to rewrite the script. Oh, that's gone through the offside once again. Sami Aslam's not even seeing fielders anymore. Put that man's butt in a geometrical box because that's where it belongs. Such precision, 27 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
The boundary rope. I think it's high time we just write to the maths department, which you definitely would be in touch with. Let's replace the protractors. Put Sami Aslam's bat in it.
So far, we've been basically seeing batters stick at one side of the crease and just stay there and stand and deliver. Aslam faced all 6 deliveries in the first. Junaid faced 3, and then Zia came out and faced the last 3 in the second. Sammy faces all of them in the third. Rotating the strike, not in vogue right now.
And the beauty about those shots now, again, he tries to rotate the strike, but I think he wants to keep up with the stats that you have been churning out. I'll tell you what, the thing about Sami Aslam when he's batting is that he's hitting almost all balls from the keeper's gloves. He's keeping it as late as possible so that he allows himself the option to go either towards point or behind point.
Now, as a New Zealand cricket fan, reminds me somewhat of the approach of a Kane Williamson, really trying to hit that ball from under your eyes as much as possible, and that patience paying off so far for Sammy.
The singles are just not there. There is a wall on the offside, but Sami Aslam's finding the cracks.
Like you said, doesn't see fielders right now, just sees gaps.
And those aren't the shortest either. Imagine someone like Raj Singh Khosa, Rajveer diving full length. You're talking about some serious distance being covered. Elmo Hutchinson. It's bowled well so far to Zia Shehzad. Just one delivery which is put away for 4. Still no single. Oh, this could be trouble. The throws at the non-strikers in, but the batter will reach first. He's also coming the way, but that is not deliberate at all. Sami Aslam wanted that single immediately because the ball off the ricochet fell a little further from what the keeper or what the fielder would have liked, because he was already committed and on his knees.
No, more or less 8 Guy and Fernando up, came flying up on him there in that position at fine leg. Unable to take it cleanly. And yeah, Aslam off like a shot. Zia Shehzad a bit further behind that. Throw went to the right spot, but just not in time.
Elmo Hutchinson. Where is that slower delivery so that the ball can sky up? Not required at the moment. This one didn't bounce as much. This one's skidding through, and that's what Aslam is suggesting. Oh, the wind.
You would imagine here, the sheer amount of turbulent flow right now of air over that crease. The one thing it's going to do is take away one of Hutchinson's weapons. It's hard to get much swing in that case, but you might just get the breeze pushing it on its own.
Now you know, when we as commentators say strap onto your seatbelts, that's not just because of the tasty contest on offer, but because of the turbulence too. Have you strapped it on here in the comm box? I think we started off about 2 feet on the left side. We just flew over here.
Well, we had to do that initially to make sure you could still see mid-wicket through the sight screen, but we're definitely motoring. We know that things are probably even more interesting up on the camera stand at the moment. Briefly salute Andrew Grindle up there, braving the elements. Final ball of the over coming here from Hutchinson. Ooh. A jumping shot from Sami Aslam, about as wild as he's looked so far. No contact, straight back through to Phillips.
The first time. Zia Shehzad on that occasion, because it was a right-hander. Zia Shehzad, the first time he's looked uncomfortable. Otherwise, he's been quite comfortable letting it go or playing the ball. So,
just 2 from the over, 29 for 1.
Can we sort the internet out?
Yeah. Switched off.
Catch it is the call. Not so much a catch. That was flying away. Sami Aslam thanks the stars. He knew that he could have been in trouble. I started discussing with Dale as well, who's probably asking, how did you get that elevation? Teach me too. I thought I placed a fielder there.
I went over on the fly. No fielder is going to do much about that. A 6 to start for Sammy.
Still flighting the ball. Abhimanyu Rajpurohit. We've talked about the lack of singles. I think they don't need any if they're able to get the bigger denominations out of the way as well. It's just that the singles are break-free shots, which can also allow the bowler to be unsettled. And the risk factor is minimum. Oh, that is played well. That is played in a manner that he's done just enough. He wants the second run as well. Sami Aslam. A poor throw would mean the second one would be complete without any resistance whatsoever. You probably expected better from Fernando.
To your point, Suhas, in particular what this has done is it's kind of taken the left-right partnership more or less out of the equation, because we've yet to see a bowler have to adjust ball to ball to that. And so the field gets to set itself and not have to worry about too much.
Floating it above the eye line. When was the last time you saw that in T20 cricket? Not today in the morning when we were trying to get that away from Srinivas Raghavan when he was bowling. That's as much flight we saw. But look at this. A long on fielder this time gets something in his zone that he can work with. Catany Clark. Now the righty-lefty combination that he needs to adjust to.
At least for one ball.
At least for one ball, indeed, if it is a legal one. Zia Shehzad, I think because they've got the big 6 on the over, I would be concerned about taking a single and single only. Zia Shehzad. His favorite mid-wicket region's been open. It's been kept open. 5 men inside the circle on the off. 4 inside circle on the off, and an easy single down to long on. A single to finish the over.
It might appear, I believe we might have one more
ball to go. I beg your pardon.
Yeah. My apologies. The 2 that we saw earlier, in fact, was given as 3 wides.
Oh, okay.
So not an official delivery.
Sami back on strike. Is he going to gently tap the ball away? Oh, a cut shot's been his bread and butter today. This time it did go straight to the fielder. Not a ubiquitous sight when it comes off the bat of Sami Aslam. End of 5 overs, Golden State Grizzlies 40 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Boundaries have been orthodox ones.
Good looking 5th stump line there from Gayan Fernando. Had Sami Aslam in 2 minds. Lucky not to make any contact with that one. Well, for Aslam here, 30 off of 20 deliveries, a far cry from what he's usually done in the power play this season, where he's averaged 25 and has had a strike rate just a hair over 100.
It's been a forgettable season with a bat in hand for Sami Aslam, but he's been one of the best captains that you would see, very tactically shrewd. For him to contribute with a bat in hand would do a world of good to the confidence of Golden State Grizzlies. Yes, it's coming a day late on a dollar shot, but still, you want the captain to be firing. Just eases it through the gap, and the ball's running away quickly. It's not dying in pace. Enough Sunoco to get to the fence. He's found the deft touches. He's found the perfect spot on the bat to meet the ball. Sami Aslam's looking great.
And it's just been the consistency so far for him. He's got at least one boundary in all but one of the overs where he's faced a ball.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's not only is he getting those boundaries, but it's not like he's going feast or famine, giving you a bunch at one point and then getting bottled up. He's finding them at regular intervals right now.
And a depth touch comes into play again. And that's been going through. It did go through. It did go through, but not enough to reach the fence. 2 runs where it should have been a single only. Gayan Fernando is not the happiest man on earth.
And of course, that'll keep the danger man, Sami Aslam, up at the crease to face the final delivery here of the power play. Final delivery pushed to the offside. Up with it without much difficulties, Katane Clark, and that's going to bring an end to the power play. They get 7 runs off the final over of it, 47 for 1 as the fielding restrictions release. Power play done and dusted, 47 for 1. Comparing that to SoCal Lashings' effort earlier, they went 41 for 2. So 6 runs ahead of the pace, as well as 1 more wicket in hand. Golden State at the moment seem to be on top of this run chase. And we've seen a bit extra zip, a bit extra Sunoco in the tank of Sami Aslam here to get things started. And perhaps that with an eye towards what has happened to net run rate for the other 2 teams that are involved in the playoff chase. Seattle chasing down their total very quickly earlier today, and East Bay hanging 215 on Hollywood.
That is hit really well. And it was asking to be hit as well, but the field has been set. A very, very wide long on cannot get there too.
Zohaib at full stretch along the boundary, not able to pull it back. A good start here for Zia Shahzad to over number 7.
You do not pitch it that shot to Zia Shahzad. He's one of the best pullers of the cricket ball. Yes, that cost his demise in the game against Silicon Valley Strikers, against the Pacers. Now they're trying to ball wide to him, the SoCal Lashings. Dale Phillips has got to find a way of picking up a wicket over here. Dale Phillips, who does he throw the ball to?
Well, Dilpreet Billing with it right now. That is picked up. Has he picked out the fielder? Just about, but I think perhaps even held up in the wind for a moment, because for a moment there it appeared to be a ball right down the throat of the man at long on, but nothing doing. A single for Shahzad.
For the left-handed Sami Aslam, the field will strengthen on the offside with a man at backward point. Third man's inside the circle, covers slightly forward compared to the other fielders at the edge of the 30-yard circle. And a man lurking as a sweeper position is covered too. Quietly tucked away on the leg side to pick up a single.
We'll return the strike to Zia Shahzad, who has been part of a couple of big partnerships this season and is looking to, as we said, this alternating ducks. Today would be the day for one of the big scores. Tap to Harpreet Singh over at the covers. Hints of an overthrow, but chased down by the bowler Billing. And they'll settle for the one.
He's taking the fielder on again, but won't even be in the equation, the fielder. That's traveled the distance. Second six for Sami Aslam. And second six in the same region.
And that one, Suha's a candidate for Dafa News Shot of the Week, straight over the Dafa News board. Out there at a very fine long on. Sami Aslam continuing to deal in boundaries. That's his second six to go along with 6 fours so far in the innings. The captain motoring along already on 43 from 26 balls here in over number 7.
This one kept low, but it doesn't really matter. Still found it in the gap. Protection in the deep. Sami Aslam. It's been a treat to watch indeed. End of the over with that single. Sami Aslam will retain strike. 62 for 1.
1, 2, 3.
Here for Raj Purohit as he will attack from the San Pedro end. As you said last over, Suhas, Dale Phillips looking desperately for a wicket at this juncture. Just one down through the power play and continuing to see runs picked up at regular intervals through boundaries by Aslam, and now Zia Shahzad has joined that party. Aslam looking for the quick single. It won't be a clean pickup over at short third man. So a single to start.
Now Abhimanyu wants a man at extra cover for Zia Shahzad. A man at point, third man's inside the circle and slightly wide. Fine legs inside the circle too. Men lurking at long on, long off and deep extra.
from the Barrett Avenue end, but it's Harpreet Singh. So far, Singh 1 over of work also came from that end, and it was costly. Gave up 14 runs to Sami Aslam, 3 4s and a 2, and that's who he'll be facing off with as he begins this 9th over. First delivery going down leg side is going to get by everybody.
Oh no!
Does look like it will hold up before reaching the boundary rope. Signal comes of the wide. They take 2 in addition to it, so 3 wides to start the over before a ball has officially been bowled.
3 runs being gifted to the opposition, and at the moment, Sami Aslam and co chipping away the runs required to reach 161. 161, right?
The 161 is our target.
Indeed,
141.
141.
75 still needed at this point.
141.
In order to get that done. Make it 72 now as the scoreboard updates for us. Here comes Harpreet Singh. First official delivery, cut away towards Hutchinson at point. No run on there. At this point, we've seen an initial push from the Golden State Grizzlies. They do have a chance to do a little something about their net run rate if they look for some acceleration here. They've only got the 1 wicket down at this point. Aslam's done nicely. They're about halfway to the target now.
Yeah, despite Malik's early departure, Zia Shehzad and Sami Aslam, who've played a lot of cricket together, mind you, around the world, they batted very positively. This partnership has helped Golden State Grizzlies avoid the hiccups.
So far, 60 from it between these two. Zia Shehzad now on strike after the quick single taken by Kian Aslam. Fielding changes afoot. Again, the right-left combination that hasn't required a whole lot of adjustment as each batter has camped at the crease when given the opportunity. Shehzad using his feet and just over. Raj Purohit rolling towards the boundary, but it will be stopped before it gets there. A pair of runs for the Grizzlies as Shehzad will retain the strike.
You look at it in hindsight, it's very risky for a 2. But that went comfortably over Abhimanyu's head. Oh, good delivery.
This time around following Shehzad as he begins to walk across his stumps looking for the opportunity to pull the ball away. Didn't quite get it the way he wanted on the one before. That'll be it for the over, 71 for 1.
My son. He's so...
For your true self, the 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Niner was gone, 71. And Fernando desperately needs to provide a wicket for his side. Momentum with the Golden State Grizzlies despite losing an early wicket. This partnership has brought them right back into the game. The coolness and calmness of Sami Aslam with timed aggression and Zia Shehzad's exuberance. 2 seasoned campaigners from Lahore bringing it home at the moment for the Golden State Grizzlies. Cut away, but straight to the fielder. It's a rare occasion indeed. This time Shehzad wants a single. It's a very rare occasion where a cut shot from Sami Aslam's found the fielder.
So far today, gaps on gaps on gaps. 8 balls that have reached the boundary rope, 2 on the fly and 6 on the roll. Aslam's pretty much put it wherever he wanted. Of course, the single would be something they'd love to get as well to earn the half century, as Aslam's sitting on 49 right now. Won't get it there, though.
He's been made to wait for that half century. It's been an innings which should have calmed his nerves already, but would that be an innings that he'll remember for a long time? 50 would be one of those landmarks. The bigger picture is reaching the target indeed. But Sami Aslam getting back into form would breathe a sigh of relief. Sami Aslam. That's in the gap, will provide more than a single. Work to do for the man in the deep who dives in with disdain, who dives in vain. Boundary collected, 50 up for the captain Sami Aslam. And a well-compiled half-century after an early wicket fell.
He and Zia Shahzad stitching this innings back together after the early fall. Junaid gone back in over number 2. And since then, we're now here at just about the halfway point. 66 runs thus far from the partnership and counting. And a decent contribution from Shahzad as well, who's held down one end. 16 off 16 for him so far.
Working. The internet.
That delivery makes its way all the way to the boundary after a fine edge. So back-to-back 4s here from Sami Aslam. The captain able to get around the initial celebrations of the 50 and immediately think about converting that into an even bigger total. 62 still to get. Guides that one through the fielders in the circle. Protection out in the deep, however. Rajveer Khosa up with it. That'll be a single, and Zia Shahzad will face the final ball of the over from Gayan Fernando. Fernando so far 16 off of the 11 balls he's bowled.
SoCal Lashings trying to dig up a way to pick up a wicket. At the moment, they aren't finding any. Oh, what a good yorker this one is. Well executed without the change in arm speed. A slower ball yorker. Dug out this time by the batter.
Well, excellent work there again as Shahzad once again tries to cover up his stumps and step across a little bit. That ball down at his feet. Danger of LBW, and at the very least, a dot ball to close. 80 for 1 as we hit the halfway point. The 11th over, Harpreet Singh staying on from the Barrett Avenue end of the ground. The partnership now good for 71 runs as itself knocked off half the total to get. And it's Sami Aslam at the crease after a dot ball on the first. Running this down toward third man, they'll pick up a single. That'll bring on Zia Shahzad. The wind continuing to be an absolute main character in this match, and perhaps in your headphones, those of you listening in at home. Doing our best to defend you from it and keep our back between the microphone and the breeze, but it is a turbulent one here. First delivery to Shahzad. Nice line, nice length, nothing Zia can do about that. He watches it into the keeper's gloves.
Harpreet Singh so far has been expensive, but that's also because of balls of this kind. This time gets the support that he required on that occasion from Fernando. Two contrasting games that SoCal Lashings have had today. In terms of the batters they've bowled at. We'll get a single. And this game's also getting into a zone where singles would suffice for the Golden State Grizzlies. Perhaps target one bowler down the line to get the required rate under control once again. With 9 wickets in hand, you got to say they're cruising towards the target at the moment. Golden State Grizzlies.
We talked a little bit last time about Himanish Ganju's estimate that 70 runs to get and 6 wickets in hand with 8 overs left puts you at about a 50-50 shot. Right now, Golden State Grizzlies with 1 more over, 3 more wickets, and 10 less runs to grab. They are firmly in control right now of this one. Final ball of the over, though, a good one from Harpreet Singh. Just 2 off of it, 82 for 1.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Dale Phillips. He's got to egg his fielders on. SoCal Lashings have got to provide a wicket over here. They've got to find a way of picking up a wicket over here. Then they can put pressure on Golden State Grizzlies through the required rate climbing up. 59 required or 54 balls is the equation at the moment. With 9 wickets in hand, these two are ensuring that even if there is an over which just goes only for 2, they're able to accumulate more in the next one. Will that be the case this time around as well, as Harpreet has just completed a fantastic over with just 2 runs being given away? 50% of the runs that were given away in the previous over have already been scored of the first ball.
Dilpreet Billing on for the first time since over number 7 now from the San Pedro end. Change of ends for him. He went for 14 plus a wide in his first over of work. Looking for better here in the 12th. Paddle sweep from Semi Aslam to the back 45. That'll get another single. Partnership now good for 75 runs. It's the best 2nd wicket partnership of the season for the Golden State Grizzlies.
Interestingly, all games that have been played against SoCal Lashings today, the opposition captain has got a half century while chasing. One of them went on to bat through as an opener himself. Of course, both of them are both Sami Aslam and Unmukh Chand. One of them decided to bat through, got the support around that he requires to score that 161.
And we'll see here if Sami Aslam can manage that, as it would be the first time this season that he's managed to avoid giving up his wicket. Of course, a bit of work still left to do there. 4 so far off of this over, off the first 4 balls. The target now 55 runs away as Dilpreet Billing comes in again with the right arm spin. Cut away by Zia Shahzad. Thought about going for the single, but elects to stay put.
It's about milking the bowling at the moment with minimum risk, getting those 4 runs or 5 runs in the over, and then targeting a bowler down the line and picking up at least 10 of the over would mean that they're well under control. Dale Phillips is looking a little frustrated, and rightfully so. Needs a wicket, somehow needs to prize out a wicket. 12 overs gone, 87 for 1. It's 5 runs of the over, right?
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards?
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
A little bit of bat surgery necessary here as we get ready for the beginning of the 13th over. Harpreet Singh will be putting in his final over of work from the Barrett Avenue end. So far, he's gone for 21 off of his 3. Suhas, as you mentioned, first 2 overs that he bowled relatively expensive. Managed to rein that back in. Now is going at an economy of 7 for the day, and at a nice improvement for SoCal's economy leader at the moment. 17th in minor league cricket coming into the weekend in his economy.
He's a tall man, and he's got a high arm release. The ball will sort of dip when you play him.
Managed something in the way of almost a spin Yorker on that one. Not much Shahzad could do with it. This one definitely in the arc. That's in the air though, and is going to hang and then drop safely for a single. Off the bat, that looked like it had quite a bit more Sunoco in it.
No ball signaled. Oh, Harpreet, we were talking so much about the economy of this man. He's kept things tight, but not on this occasion. He's overstepped, and that means it's going to be followed by a free hit.
Of course, the batsman crossed, so the ability to reset the field, and Dale Phillips will take full advantage of that. Sami Aslam at the striker's end, and again, we're going to see that sprint across that we've seen every now and again. 22 yards in the blink of an eye to have 3 words and then sprint right back.
What are those 3 magical words? We'll figure it out. We'll find out.
Not a 6.
Not a 6 sounds good. Oh, that's a good shot. Well, lots of work to do. Does really well, the fielder at long off. Sprinting towards his right. Saving a certain boundary.
Wasn't a 6.
Oh yes, maybe those are the words.
Good job, Captain. That one played gently over to the point region.
Oh, good throw.
Quick single after a very nice dart throw to Harpreet Singh at the non-striker's end. Aslam will take the run. Captain now at 62. If he manages another 6 runs, his 2 top scores of the season will both be against this SoCal Lashings side. We've talked a bunch about the struggles he's had this season. The Lashings are saying, what struggles?
This partnership blooms and blossoms, adding more misery to SoCal Lashings' pocket. They need a wicket. They need a wicket. They need to manufacture a wicket. How do they do it? Perhaps cutting down on the favorite areas of the batter. It's looking very innocuous now. Harpreet Singh, with everything in the hitting zone of the batter, will ease it into the gap and pick up a single, and a single would suffice. Now for the right-hand batter, will come over the wicket. Zia Shahzad, he's been quite content picking up the singles as well. Would he go for a big shot in this over? Or would he play out a man who's generally been the best with his economy in SoCal Lashings? Dot ball to finish the over. End of 13 overs, 94 for 1.
Billing continues from the San Pedro end of the ground, 94 for 1. The current state of affairs, the target less than 50 runs away. The news from the other field right now, Hollywood Master Blasters are at 49 for 7 with 9 overs left. East Bay Blazers doing some damage at the moment and trying to keep pace with the Seattle Thunderbolts, who won big earlier today against San Diego Surf Riders.
Thank you.
They'll both, of course, be in action again tomorrow here from Morgan Hill as that ball's tapped to the right of Dilpreet Billing. Pair of dot balls to start the over against Sammy Aslam.
The dive has also caused more problems for SoCal Lashings as it's been ricocheted to a place where the fielders don't exist, and the throw even more so. And a misfield too, they'll go back for the other. How many have they run all together? Was there a point of stopping that ball in the first place then?
Aslam all the way back at the non-striker's end, so it does save one. The diving play did prevent a boundary, but they managed 3 off of it between the original ricochet, them taking 2, and then the overthrow that Billing could not stop.
Would you believe it? For a ball that was fielded inside the 30-yard circle, ends up being 3 because it's taken a different course. It's one of those instances where you take a longer flight to reach a destination closer comparatively.
Going to Phoenix from SFO, connecting through Seattle.
Well done. There comes the topography.
Single to long on there for Zia Shahzad as the accumulation continues. 143 runs from the total to get for Golden State.
The time is running out for SoCal Lashings to pick up a wicket over here because they'll get more and more comfortable, Grizzlies, as they pick up 2 more on that occasion. Dilpreet is having no part of his body behind that ball as he collects it. Dale's not happy with the throw either. Shoulders drooping, SoCal Lashings are not looking their 100%, and Dale Phillips has got to provide the moxie required for his boys to be at their 100% at all times. 100 comes up for Golden State Grizzlies.
It has been a long day for SoCal, of course. They got started at 10 this morning. Would have thought up until about 10 overs from the finish that they were right in that game against the Silicon Valley Strikers, but just too much batting down the stretch. Another opportunity for 2 as that's put into the vacant mid-wicket area. The throw comes through, well fielded by Clark at the stumps, but not in time to try to get rid of Zia Shahzad over at that end. Another 2 to finish that off. 8 off the over, 102 for 1 through 14.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Six balls at this point. Very nearly down to a run a ball for Golden State Grizzlies to finish off this chase. Zia Shahzad at the crease as the Grizzlies approach a potential century partnership, sitting right now at 93 runs between Shahzad and Aslam. And Zia's done what's been necessary. Sammy has been exemplary so far today, 72 off 53.
And the way he's gone about scoring those 72 runs, never felt under pressure. Getting the first few balls out of the way, getting them for a boundary at least. Oh, that could be quick. That was quick work. Dale Phillips did not give away the fact that he has a bullet-like arm to get the throw in so accurately. But off came one glove, prepared for that throw, gets it in the end. No damage done though for Golden State Grizzlies. SoCal Lashings with droopy shoulders, they've got to find a way to make themselves come back into the game.
Basical on the on the running out of that single, and you wonder if the drooping shoulders communicate to the Grizzlies that there won't be any further drama in this one, and very nearly creates it. And there's a stump ripped out of the ground, the finger up, and Sammy Aslam's day at the crease, a great one, has come to an end with 72 runs to his name, stumped by the captain Dale Phillips. One takes out the other.
Abhimanyu Rajpurohit, slow, straight when it mattered the most. The man who held his nerve, did not feel bogged down by a big partnership brewing, provides the breakthrough, and brings the end to what was a terrific innings from captain Sammy Aslam, who was searching for form almost all through the season.
Is that Dan? Who's it? Who's down?
Not sure.
Who?
Not sure.
No. Who? That guy who's down.
Captain taken by the other captain, Phillips stumping Sammy Aslam and bringing his stay at the crease to an end. Shivam Mishra, the new man in, and Dilpreet Billing, after a little bit of assistance with what appeared to be maybe some cramping going on in the back of the leg, now back to his feet. He will take his position.
It's indeed been a long, long day for SoCal Lashings as they play the second game of the day with minimum rest.
It's not quite an ODI, but it's close. 40 overs on either side.
And I'll tell you what, it's the second time SoCal Lashings are doing this in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. They did it once in Houston, if I'm not wrong.
A single for Shivam Mishra, quickly off the mark. Mishra on the season, a 32 average and a 138 strike rate. Zia Shahzad walks out to that one and pulls it just wide of the sight screen. That gets over the boundary on the fly. A 6 for Zia, his first of the innings.
Oh, good shot. Zia Shahzad doesn't want to get into a shell because he's lost his captain. He wants to continue to bat the way that he usually does. Accepting the invitation from Abhimanyu, smashing him straight over his head. Bit of fielding to do for Kulvinder, who was seen in the first game. Goes again. Very adventurous. Bigger a 6.
That one targeting the pavilion of the other game.
The fielder in the deep, I think it was Nawaz for East Bay Blazers. He was ducking from the flying meteor and suddenly was asked to field the ball which was coming towards him as well in the other game.
Talk about a challenge for anyone with attention deficits, having all that going on with you at the same moment. And the way Zia's hitting, I think East Bay Blazers are going to want to get those last 3 wickets as soon as possible so they can just get out of the way.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot indeed. Will be for more. Yes, it's good to flight the ball, but Zia Shahzad's accepting the invitation and also drilling the ball for 4s and 6s.
3 consecutive boundaries there to end the over and just about take the game away from SoCal Lashings. Would you believe the first boundaries in 24 balls taking place right there? That will bring an end to the over. 120 for 2.
1, 2, 3.
Just move it a little bit.
15 overs gone, 120 for 2. 21 required for victory here for the Golden State Grizzlies. Dilpreet, can he provide another wicket here? They've got to chip away with the wicket. SoCal Lashings to stay in this game. 21 in 5 overs. Dale Phillips should be telling his boys to take it as deep as possible, to not give up, make the opposition work for 21 runs. You've seen, especially in this format of the game changes very quickly.
As we said just before the break between overs, that was those boundaries there, the first ones in 24 balls. They'd done pretty well keeping it tight. The problem had been issues in the field and giving away extra runs off overthrows.
Golden State Grizzly fans have begun the countdown here. 20 required. And looking at the way Zia Shehzad's going about his business, doesn't want to take it very deep. Wants to finish it with at least no despair. Long on and long off, as straight as possible, because Zia Shehzad tends to go straight down the ground for his runs.
In fact, we should probably get ready to protect equipment here just in case if he happens to go a little bit to the offside of the sight screen this time instead of the on.
With the wind swerving, I think if he hits it straight down the ground, it's coming towards you. He doesn't.
I live to fight another day.
You've got to be very quick to start off, much like Toyota Tundra. 0 to 100 in how many seconds, you tell me?
Impressive with a truck in particular.
And you, 0 to 100 in how many seconds? We'll probably figure it out when the ball is coming towards us.
Right. I need to be chased.
Okay.
Something's going to have to give me that extra dose of Sunoco to get me on the move.
Gentle tap for a single and that would suffice. No drama whatsoever. This is what the flurry of boundaries every time the Golden State Grizzlies have got one has done. They've got the game under control. 18 required of 26 balls. And a single of this kind would make the job easier. One more delivery to go. 1, 2, 3 for 2. 1, 2, 4 with that single.
They've done good work so far today to take advantage of Dilpreet Billing. Not a terribly frequently used bowler in the SoCal Lashings setup. He's gone for 32. Here's his final ball.
Oh, good ball. Very good ball to end the over. Quicker than anticipated by the batter. A dot ball to finish. 124 for 2. 7. ...2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. The SoCal Lashings taking on the Golden State Grizzlies, and the Golden State Grizzlies are running away with this game. Despite losing the skipper, Zia Shehzad's taken the mantle and he's accepted the baton with both hands. He wants to see it through, Joe.
Now a flurry of boundaries almost the moment that Aslam was dismissed. Mishra got himself off the mark, and then it went 6-6-4 from Shehzad, and just like that, about a third of the remaining total was hacked away in the span of 3 balls. And so very similar to what we actually saw Gary Graham do earlier today when he first came in. Again, a quick flurry of boundaries, and suddenly you're most of the way there.
The idea of purchasing a wicket is what Abhimanyu Rajpurohit went with. He's picked up the wicket in that fashion of captain Sami Aslam. Tried the same tactic to Shehzad, which works 50-50, and Shehzad accepted it gleefully. The more flight the batter wanted, the more flight he was provided. Smashed it away for 2 sixes and a boundary.
It does appear, by the way, as we cast our eyes over towards long on, a 9th wicket taken in the other game. Zia Shehzad turning on the first delivery from Elmore Hutchinson and authoring a contender for Dafanu's shot of the week. That went to cow corner. Couple of bounces and a 4 for Shahzad. Rude greeting to Hutchinson as he comes back into the attack.
Elmore Hutchinson pitching it short to trouble the batter. That ball was hit away as if he's been waiting for a while for the shot delivery.
Yeah, Shivam hit it, right? Shivam hit it, right? No. Oh, yeah.
Right back through the wickets of Elmore Hutchinson. That one going to require a little bit of work from the man at long on to cut it off, but it'll just be a single for Shahzad. That'll bring the lefty Mishra on strike. Job nearly done here for the Golden State Grizzlies. Just another 12 runs required. And 22 balls to get them. Over on the other field, Hollywood Master Blasters down to their final wicket. East Bay looking at authoring a resounding victory over there to keep pace with the net run rate damage that Seattle did earlier. So that second place race continues to tighten up. We'll have East Bay on our airwaves again tomorrow. Mishra turns on that one. No fielders in the vicinity. It's going to take a couple bounces. A lot of work to be done. Doesn't field it cleanly, but does manage to prevent the boundary. Another throw that gets by everyone, but Harpreet Singh there to back up. It'll be 2 off the bat for Mishra, who thus far has not had to do very much. The countdown continues. Now the target just 10 runs away.
Hutchinson searching for that wicket ball and might have come by. That's gone straight up in the air. Katani Clark will complete the catch. Katani Clark doesn't miss many. He's one of the best fielders. Elmore Hutchinson's wicket ball that has arrived. That's the end of the gritty southpaw, Shivam Mishra. Most importantly for Golden State Grizzlies to see it through, Shahzad still there in the middle.
Absolutely, and an unusually short day here for Shivam Mishra, who had gone for 48, 77, and 33 in 3 of his last 4 innings. He departs for just 5 runs this time around, but as well, Zia Shahzad, of course, still in there as a set batsman, and Hamad Azam coming up, and so certainly enough firepower to take care, you would imagine, of 10 more runs. Golden State still very well and truly in front here and looking to basically see if they can get their game over with before the one at the other field. A little bit of a race. It will be Shahzad on strike as the 2 batters crossed on the ball to the outfield.
You're talking about a race. Whenever you talk about a race, you know that you need a different kind of a fuel altogether. Sunoco race fuel. Engineered for perfection to provide you that extra kick and be the best friend for your vehicle. Oh, glorious shot. Man in the deep will ensure it's a single. Wastes no time whatsoever. Picks up a single. Shahzad.
And don't look now, that flurry of boundaries has got Zia Shahzad on the verge of what would be his first half century of the season. Already his top score this year. He had topped out at 40 coming up in Davis at Arroyo Park 2 weeks ago. He'll have to wait for Hamad Azam, though, to get his crack at it.
Hamad Azam, due to an injury, wasn't bowling much in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, but he has been tremendous with a bat in hand. Hamad Azam, once again, a legend from Pakistan as far as the Golden State Grizzlies are concerned. 133 for 3. $133 for 3, 8 runs to go. As far as the Grizzlies are concerned, Hamad Azam has just joined Zia Shehzad, both of them are great buddies while growing up as well. They play a lot of table tennis together. Now with a bat in hand, Hamad Azam's got about 8 runs to take care of. Zia Shehzad, who usually scores runs in short bursts, requires 1 more of that kind. Wickets, that should be the order of the day. Wickets is a buzzword. Sandhu, can he provide it for SoCal Lashings? Sanchit Sandhu. It's not been his 100%, especially in the first game. Too many loose deliveries. Would want to be better this time around. Sanchit Sandhu from the San Pedro end. Man at long off. Third man's as conventional as possible. Fine legs inside the circle. No, he's dropping back as long off decides to become mid off in Gayan Fernando. Covers, extra cover, and a sweeper in place. That's the offside field for you. Hamad Azam will quietly pick up a single and leave it to Shehzad, who's been a treat to watch.
Shehzad now 2 runs shy of that half century. We'll look to try to pick it up off of Sandhu, who is in for his first action of this match. As you mentioned, traveled a little bit in our morning match against the Silicon Valley Strikers. So far on the season, an 8.34 economy and 14 wickets to his name. Half of those in the death overs. That one rifled right back at Sandhu. Knocked that down. No run to be taken.
Very powerfully struck indeed. Sanchit Sandhu puts his right hand, which is his bowling hand as well. The wind is picking up.
And just as Golden State Grizzlies look for a final flurry, so does the wind here at Morgan Hill.
I'll tell you what, Golden State Grizzlies have literally blown away SoCal Lashings today.
Like commentary notes off a table. Here comes Sanchit Sandhu over the wicket. That one cut away. Looks like that'll be a single for Shehzad. He'll remain 1 run shy of that magic mark. 6 more to get, so Hamad Azam, if he feels so compelled, could deny his teammate that 50 by dialing long distance on this next delivery. We'll see what he has in mind.
Yeah, Hamad Azam, oh, what an innings. That was 72 of just 32 balls, 33 balls against Michigan Stars earlier in this tournament. 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. And it's coming at a time when most of the runs have been already taken care of by his partners.
That innings for Azam, the only one where he's had, oh my goodness, that is laced over there. A tough fielding job and unable to keep it inside the rope is the man at extra cover. Abhimanyu Rajpurohit unable to hold it in play. 4 for Azam.
Should have been stopped.
Absolutely.
That should have been stopped indeed. Make the opposition work for every single run. Off the ricochet, the ball goes for 4. Azam, confident as ever now as he's got a boundary under his belt. He's got 1 more of that kind to finish the game. Zia Shehzad, would he be stranded at 49?
2 more needed. The Golden State Grizzlies just a run shy of the 140 total put up by SoCal Lashings.
There is a chance of the game being done and dusted in this very over. Dale Phillips realizes that the single is all they're wanting. More protection inside the 30-yard circle to stop the single, but that one's gone through, and no protection there as well. Winning runs from Azam's bat. Shehzad completes his innings with 49 and at the North Strikers end. The statistician alongside is not happy, but Grizzlies definitely are as they pick up a thumping win against the SoCal Lashings.
Getting it done with a further 13 balls left potentially in the kitty. That'll help out the net run rate a little bit and keep them alive for the time being. East Bay on the verge of getting their victory are going to push the Grizzlies to the brink, and the recipe for them to make the playoffs now is pretty straightforward. They need to run the table, they need East Bay to lose out, and they need to top everybody in net run rate. Is it likely? Absolutely not. But is it still possible? Mathematically, no doubt.
Golden State Grizzlies would be packing a calculator in the kit bag today. because that is what will keep them alive. And prayers, of course, that Golden State Grizzlies see the East Bay Blazers go down in one of their games, which doesn't seem likely in the game currently going on against Hollywood Master Blasters.
And to just give you a sense of what's coming up tomorrow, two of the teams that are currently out on these fields will be in action at 10 a.m.
Good bouncer, a bouncer that makes him sniff leather.
In fact, the finger up, apparently a feathered edge to that one, and that'll be it for Malik Janae.
A glorious shot. Nobody move.
Right here.
Third over, and it's spin from
Oh, glorious.
the Barrett Avenue end.
Slightly short, that's in the gap too. Anything short, that's been treated with some disdain. SoCal Lashings looking to rewrite the script. Oh, that's gone through the offside once again. Sami Aslam's not even seeing fielders anymore. Catch it is the call. Not so much. You want the captain to be firing. Just eases it through the gap, and the ball's running away quickly. It's not dying in pace. Enough Sunoco to get to the fence.
Chasing down their total very quickly earlier today, and East Bay hanging 215 on Hollywood.
That is hit really well, and it was asking to be hit as well with the field. He's taking the fielder on again, but won't even be in the equation, the fielder. That's traveled the distance. Sami Aslam. That's in the gap, will provide more than a single. Work to do for the man in the deep who dives in with disdain, who dives in vain. Boundary collected, 50 up for the captain Sami Aslam. And a well-compiled half-century after an early wicket fell.
One end, 16 off 16 for him so far.
Working. The internet.
Grizzlies that there won't be any further drama in this one, and very nearly creates it. And there's a stump ripped out of the ground, the finger up, and Sami Aslam's day at the crease, a great one, has come to an end with 72 runs to his name. On the season, a 32 average and a 138 strike rate. Zia Shahzad walks out to that one and pulls it just wide of the sight.
Winder, who was seen in the first game, goes again. Very adventurous. Bigger a 6.
That one targeting the pavilion of the other. East Bay Blazers are going to want to get those last 3 wickets as soon as possible so they can just get out of the way.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot indeed. Will be for more. Yes, it's good to flight the ball.
Towards long on, a 9th wicket taken in the other game. Zia Shahzad turning on the first delivery from Elmore Hutchinson and authoring a contender for Dafanu's shot of the week.
Hutchinson searching for that wicket ball and might have come by. That's gone straight up in the air. Katani Clark will complete the catch.
That innings for Azam, the only one where he's had, oh my goodness, that is laced over there. A tough fielding job and unable to keep it inside the rope.
More protection inside the 30-yard circle to stop the single, but that one's gone through and no protection there as well. Winning runs from Azam's bat. Shahzad completes his innings with 49 and the North strikers, and the statistician alongside.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.